what do these signings do for these organizations? Like, how do these moves make these teams look, especially in a competitive division that is the NFC South?
Well, here's what I'll say. When it comes to Jameis Winston going back to the New Orleans Saints, I think it's smart. I think it's smart on their part just because it brings stability to that quarterback position. And I think when I look at Jameis Winston compared to Taysom Hill, I'm going with Jameis, bro. It's not even close. I'm going with Jameis. Now, when it comes to the Marcus Mariota situation with the Falcons were moving on from Matt Ryan one way or another because I was going through some of the reports with Matt Ryan, and it didn't seem like Matt Ryan was really that bent on getting another contract extension with the Atlanta Falcons. So I think Atlanta was kind of preparing the fact that they were going to move on from him anyway. And when it comes to Marcus Mariota in the fold, I'm not really sold on the possibility of Marcus Mariota being the guy that's going to lead the Falcons to the promised land, be able to get them a division title in the NFC South. I just don't really see it. I think if Atlanta had some decent weapons to surround Marcus with, I'd say maybe they'd be in a better situation. But with Calvin Ridley being out the next season due to his gambling issue, where he's going to be suspended the entire year, they don't really have a lot to work with. Granted, they have Cordero Patterson, but overall, there's just not much that Atlanta has in their offensive arsenal that I could say like, yeah, this team could really compete against teams like the Saints or the Buccaneers. I just don't really see it. I think when it comes to the Saints, though, the Saints are the only team that have gone out and outcompeted the Buccaneers in that division 2 straight seasons. In the regular season, the Saints haven't lost to Tom Brady when he's led the Buccaneers against them, which is really quite shocking because when you have a Tom Brady led team, typically those divisional games, granted they can be competitive, but typically Tom finds a way to get those teams a W when it's all said and done. But the fact of the matter is that the Saints are undefeated against Tom since Tom got to Tampa, and that's in large part due to the fact that when Drew Brees was there, he was able to be effective. Jameis has been effective at times, but it's really quite shocking that the Saints are like that competitive against Tampa. Like they just have their number and they've been playing very well against them. So I think when I look at the situation of looking at Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston, I think when it's all said and done, I kind of have to favor Jameis Winston over Marcus Mariota simply just because I don't think Marcus is going to be able to do that much with Atlanta, unfortunately. And I think with the current situation that the Saints have, even though that the Saints, they may be a team looking on the outside in as far as a playoff spot is concerned, but I think that they're really the only team that can compete with the Buccaneers this year. I think had Deshaun Watson gone to the Panthers, because there's rumors that he could have potentially been traded to the Panthers, maybe they would have been more competitive to go up against Tampa. But as far as I'm concerned, the Saints are the only one that could actually go toe to toe with the Buccaneers. And it's because I think Jameis Winston brings a better option than Taysom Hill is, for the Saints. But overall, it does seem like to me that the Bucks are the favorite in the NFC South at this current moment in time. But I think Jameis is really the only quarterback that can really kind of go up against Tom Brady and be able to compete against him because Tom is by far and away the best quarterback in that division, despite the fact that he will be 45 years old going into next season. It's just, it's the Bucks. The Bucks are clearly the best team in the NFC South, but don't sleep on the Saints. I think that they could definitely make some noise and potentially even upset the Bucks once again. And it would be in part due to Jameis Winston, but I'm going to side with Jameis on this one, and that's just how I see it.
I mean, good for Jameis and all. I mean, obviously, no one's saying that they're not happy for him actually getting another shot. I mean, coming off of an ACL injury when he was having a pretty decent season at the point of where he got injured, I would say that he rightfully deserved this opportunity to go and lead the Saints. But I'm going to agree with Kyle here, just because when you look at the NFC South, it's legitimately Tom Brady and nobody else. The Panthers don't even know what they're doing at quarterback this year. Obviously, the Falcons are swinging and missing with Mariota, in my opinion. I can't say missing. We don't even know what's going to happen. Should I say the Panthers are really swinging and missing because they went after Sam Darnold and then brought back Cam Newton, which turned out to be absolutely a waste of time. And then, of course, Now you have the New Orleans Saints bringing Jameis back. You still have Michael Thomas on that team. We don't know what's happening with Alvin Kamara. You still have Mark Ingram on that team. You still have a great top 10 defense with the New Orleans Saints there as well. It's going to be an entirely new run system with Dennis Allen at the at the forefront of the offense. We all know that he's more of a defensive-minded coach as well, so we will see what happens there. But Jameis gets a good contract, 2 years, $28 million, I believe, $21 or $22 million guaranteed. And then, kind of swinging over to the Atlanta aspect, like Kyle said, Atlanta doesn't really have any offensive weapons. I mean, Cordell Patterson and the Falcons, I believe, have agreed to a deal. I don't know the specifications of the contract. They obviously have Kyle Pitts, one of the better tight ends in the league, obviously only coming off of 1 year, but we saw the talent that he was able to provide when he was given good looks. And then, I mean, again, Calvin Ridley suspended this year. They lost Gage to, if I'm not mistaken, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is a division rival, so that's even worse. And then, of course, at the end of the day, Marcus Mariota hasn't started a football game 3, 4 seasons, and he
Oh
got
wow.
$18 million. So
Oh wow.
it's been some time. So to have faith in somebody that hasn't had meaningful playing time in the NFL, somebody who kind of washed out of Tennessee, it wasn't because he was bad. It was just too many inconsistencies. He wasn't really able to make good decisions. So I don't know if he's going to be utilized more in that RPO kind of situation because of the dynamics of Cordell Patterson in that offense. But we're going to have to see. But far and away, Tom Brady is the best quarterback in the division, arguably the best quarterback in the conference. And then you go and you add two quarterbacks that are potential question marks, but one being better than the other, and that's Jameis Winston. So I'm going to agree with Kyle and say for sure, New Orleans is the only team that's going to be able to rival Tampa in that division, and it's not even close.